Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome into the 2021 record prediction. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump right in. So in week 1, the Jets are going to be taking on the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. Now obviously there's going to be tons of storylines. Young team versus young team. Young coach versus young coach. Sam Darnold versus Zach Wilson. Sam Darnold versus his old team. So I'm pumped for this game. I cannot wait. And I understand that the overall narrative is that the Jets won't be the favorite going into Carolina, right? The Panthers added a ton of great pieces. The game is in Carolina. I get all of that, but I'll say this. I feel really, really good about this game. Imagine this. Imagine being Matt Rule. How do you prepare for the New York Jets? They have a brand new head coach, a brand new offensive coordinator, and a brand new offensive system, a new defensive system that's going to be in place, a brand new rookie quarterback. You have no idea. You have tons of new free agents, tons of rookies that will be contributing. You have nothing to go off of. There is not I mean, I guess you can go back to San Francisco and watch, some of the tendencies that they play with, but this is a brand new team with brand new players. I feel like defending against this New York Jets team, trying to come up with a highly detailed game plan in week 1 is going to be a very difficult task for a young team and a young coaching staff with the Carolina Panthers. Now, when you're taking a look at Sam Darnold, not only will this be his first game in a brand new offensive system under Joe Brady, but the team that he's coming from is the New York Jets. Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, and Mike LaFleur spent countless hours trying to figure out the quarterback question mark this offseason. Should we keep Sam Darnold? Should we draft somebody at 2? Should we trade for Deshaun Watson, trade for somebody else? They turned down multiple trade offers because they wanted to do their due diligence and really hammer out all the details before making the decision. Obviously, they ended up with Zach Wilson, so you can make the argument that the Jets coaching staff, the Jets organization knows Sam Darnold better than the Carolina Panthers to begin with. So for those reasons, I'm actually going to say the Jets start off 1-0. Next up, week 2, the home opener against the New England Patriots, the division rival Patriots. I'm going to say it's a loss. Okay, number 1, the Patriots, they were a 7-9 team last season with so much turmoil. They had a ton of virus opt-outs. They had a bunch of injuries. Cam Newton, first season with the New England Patriots, there was a huge learning curve with that. It was just a dysfunctional mess last season in New England, but yet they still managed to roll out a 7-9 record. You add Jonnu Smith, you add Hunter Henry, you add Trent Brown, you add Matt Judon. Cam Newton's going into the second year in the Josh McDaniels offense. I think the Patriots, and not to mention Bill Belichick's success against rookie quarterbacks, to me, this just seems like a loss early in the season. As much as I want to give the Jets a W here because it is the home opener against a team that I absolutely despise, I just can't really see it happening this early in the season. Week 3, the Jets are going to be traveling across the country to take on the Broncos in Denver. I'm going to say this is a loss, okay? First and foremost, the Jets are a young team. This game will be a lot of players' first time playing in this type of weather setting, the high-altitude, mile-high stadium. I think that will play into an effect, even though I feel like Zach Wilson's deep balls are going to be insane. It's going to be must-watch TV. I feel like just the overall pace of the game might be a little hard to adjust to for the Jets. First game on the West Coast, only game on the West Coast. And then, of course, you take a look at the Denver Broncos team. I don't like Vic Fangio. I don't like Pat Shurmur. I don't think those two guys are the long-term options in Denver. I don't see either of those guys winning a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. With that said, though, they did add some stability to the quarterback position, adding Teddy Bridgewater. I think that was a pretty solid move. All you had to give up was I think it was a future 6th-round pick. Could have been a 6th-round pick last year or, in this past draft. Doesn't matter. Bridgewater, I really like at the quarterback position because they already have tons of weapons. But on defense, that's where I feel like the issues are going to lie for the Jets in this game. Moving the ball on this Denver Bronco defense in their house is going to be tough. Von Miller coming back. They have tons of players coming back, by the way. They did a bunch of injuries, and you added Patrick Surtain. You added Kyle Fuller. Nobody's talking about that move. It was a steal. 1 year, $9.5 million. Denver got a steal with that signing. But anyway, loss for me. I just feel like it's just too tough to score points on this Broncos defense in their house for a really young football team. Next up, week 4, the Jets are going to be back at home to take on the Tennessee Titans. And by the way, I might actually try to attend this game. So if you guys are going, just let me know. We'll all link up. It should be a lot of fun. But I'm actually going to say the Jets win this one. It's crazy. I know that the Titans made the playoffs last year, and they have Vrabel, and they have Derrick Henry, and all these good things. But I'm going to say the Jets win. They come back home and beat the Tennessee Titans. You take a look at the Titans' schedule, or really the Titans team right now. They lost Jonnu Smith. They lost Arthur Smith. They lost Adoree Jackson. They lost Corey Davis. Corey Davis revenge game, possibly. We'll see. This is a Titans team that already has a very, very old roster. You look at who they played the week before. They took on the division rival Indianapolis Colts in week 3. That is a must-win game. So you know the Tennessee Titans are going to have all hands on deck for that one. Then they have the Jets in week 4 in New York, of course, or in New Jersey. And then week 5, another divisional opponent in Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, a much better Jacksonville Jaguar team under Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence. Okay, so 2 huge games for the Tennessee Titans sandwich in between the Jet game. I feel like with the Jets coming back home, remember they played in Denver, coming back home, I think the Jets can actually steal a win here. And again, this Tennessee Titans team probably won't be the same as last year. New offensive coordinator, new play caller, new players on offense, and it's a really, really old roster. So for those reasons, I'm saying it's a win. Next up, week 5, we're going to London. Cannot wait for this game. It would be an absolute dream to go to this game. I've never been to that part of the world. Oh, always have wanted to. But anyway, we're taking on the Falcons. 9:30 a.m. kickoff over here on the East Coast. This is a game that could go either way. It honestly could go either way, but I'll say it's a loss just to be on the safe side, right? Let's just give the Falcons the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say it's going to be a loss. But here's the thing. I truly believe that the Jets could win this game if they get after Matt Ryan. If Matt Ryan has no time to throw, the Jets could very well rack up tons and tons of points on the Atlanta Falcons defense, and all of a sudden that puts a ton of pressure on Matt Ryan to, sustain drives and whatnot. I feel like if the pass rush is there and we are bringing Matt Ryan down, an immobile quarterback, a team that doesn't really have a consistent running game. Of course, we don't know how the season's going to play out, but on paper, and yes, Arthur Smith is coming from Tennessee with that dominant run game, but the Falcons don't have a running back like Derrick Henry. They just don't. But I really like this Falcons team. They have some pieces on defense. They have a ton of first-round picks invested in the offensive line. Matt Ryan can still play. They obviously had tons of weapons, but Matt Ryan's lack of mobility, I feel like, could be an issue here. But with that said, the pass rush for the Jets is also unproven, so we can't just assume that's going to be there. So if Matt Ryan has all day to throw, it might be a long day. It might just be one of those games like where it's 37-34, just a shootout, just an old school shootout. Next up, week 6, we have the bye week. A little early for my preference, but it's not the end of the world because we have 2 weeks to prepare for the division rival New England Patriots. That could benefit this team big time. Big time. We're entering the bye week as a 2-3 football team. Week 7, we take on the Patriots in their house. As much as it kills me to say this, I'm going to say it's another loss. I think it'll be a lot closer, though. I think the 2 weeks will definitely benefit this coaching staff. Remember, young coaching staff, they have a lot of time to really prepare for the New England Patriots. And I'm really thinking this game is going. I know it's in New England. I know Belichick has success against rookie quarterbacks, just humiliating them, all that stuff. But I do feel like this game, the Jets will make sustained progress for sure. I definitely see that, but I just feel like at the end of the day, the Patriots are the better football team. They have as we stand right now, the better coaching staff, the better roster. They're at home. Therefore, it's a loss. Next up, week 8, back at home to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to say it's a win. Even though I really love what the Bengals have done at free agency, Trey Hendrickson, Chidobe Awuzie, Hilton from the Pittsburgh Steelers, I love what the Bengals are doing. Joe Burrow's coming back. You had Jamar Chase. That is awesome. The Bengals are going to be such a fun team to watch. All they do is throw the football, short passing. Joe Burrow is mobile. So I really, really like this Bengals team. Although I probably would have taken Penei Sewell if I was running the Bengals, to be honest with you. But I'm going to say the Jets come back home and win this game. It'll be a fun one. Honestly, man, should I try to go to this one too? I really want to, but I don't know. We'll see. You take a look at the Bengals' schedule. Before the Jet game, they were in Baltimore taking on the division rival Ravens. Before that, they were in Detroit taking on the Lions. So 3 back-to-back-to-back road games is always difficult. After the Jet game, they have to take on the division rival Cleveland Browns, a huge game. Okay, so much like the Tennessee Titan game, the Jets could benefit from the opposing team having a very, very difficult stretch of games, and the Jets are kind of sandwiched in between at home, and also you're catching the Bengals on the last game of their road trip, so that does play into an effect. But at the end of the day, both teams are young. Both teams are going in the right direction. I can't wait for this game, and I really, really like the direction that Cincinnati's heading in, but I'm going to say it's going to be a W for the Jets. Next up, week 9 on a short week, Thursday Night Football in Indianapolis to take on the Colts. I'm going to say a loss. Number one, the Colts are just an ultra-talented team. They have so many different positions figured out. Double-digit wins last season. They have a great coaching staff, Frank Reich, Matt Eberflus. Yes, they lost Sirianni, obviously to the Philadelphia Eagles as a head coach, but at the end of the day, I think the Colts will be fine. And the elephant in the room, Carson Wentz, right? I do believe Carson Wentz, even though what we saw last season was a train wreck, I do believe Carson Wentz will come in and be an upgrade over Phillip Rivers. And again, you're teaming him back up with Frank Reich in that offensive system, a system that he's shown, hey, I can produce when I'm playing in this style of system. And then with Frank Reich calling plays as well, I think the Indianapolis Colts will be a legitimate threat this season. And then, of course, you have to take into consideration it's on a short week for a young team, a young coaching staff, and it's in Indianapolis. I just feel like it's a little too much to handle at this point for such a young football team. Loss for me. Next up, week 10, we're going back home to take on the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, much like the Indianapolis Colts, have so many different things figured out. They just have they barely have any weaknesses. Maybe a second corner, maybe a consistent pass rush, but I mean, from top to bottom, Buffalo is a complete team. They have wide receivers, quarterback, running back, offensive line, safeties, linebackers. They have so many things answered. They have a great coaching staff as well with Sean McDermott, Leslie Frazier, Brian Daboll did not leave. I think this is going to be tough. Buffalo's had our number for the past couple of seasons. I don't see that changing in week 10. I'm saying it's an L. Next up for week 11, the Jets are taking on the Miami Dolphins at home. As much as it kills me to say it, I'm going to say it's a loss. I think at the end of the day, the Dolphins from top to bottom are a pretty good football team. They have a great defense, great special teams unit, great coaching staff, but a horrendous offense. So, and this is based off of last season. So what did the team do? They go out and they added Will Fuller. Pretty solid pickup, cheap deal. Yes, he will miss week 1, but at the end of the day, Will Fuller will help this offense if he stays healthy. They also go out and they draft Jalen Waddle, one of, if not the most explosive player in the entire draft, who is ex-teammate to help him out. You already have Mike Gesicki. You already had Devontae Parker. Austin Jackson proved me wrong last season. I like Kinley at guard. The Dolphins are a good football team, okay, but it all rests onto his shoulders. If he is not the answer, like if he if he looks like what he did last season, it was just absolutely horrendous, I think they'll pull the plug on him early. They did go out and sign Jacoby Brissett, so I feel like if Tua's rolling, he's going to be out there, and obviously it's a tough matchup, but if he's, horrible early in the season, then Jacoby Brissett will be in by this point. So for me, it's going to be a loss. Next up, week 12 in Houston, I'm going to say this is a win. I think the Jets go down to Houston and take a W. This is awesome. I feel like right now the Jets are more talented than the Houston Texans, and the Texans, much like the Jets, have a lot of question marks. They have a lot of unknowns. We don't really know how the Texans are going to look. We've heard some rumors that the Texans could be tanking, but how good of a head coach is David Culley? We don't know. This is his first rodeo. Is it going to be Deshaun Watson? Is it going to be Davis Mills? Is it going to be Tyrod Taylor? What's happening at the quarterback position? The brand new systems that are going to be in place as well. I feel like at the end of the day, the Jets will go down to Houston as the more talented team and secure a W on the road. Next up, week 13, the Jets are back home to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to say it's a win. Nice back-to-back wins late into the season for the New York Jets. Right now, I'm looking at the Eagles, much like the Texans, a lot of question marks. Quarterback, is it going to be Jalen Hurts? Will they pull off some mega trade that we've been kind of hearing rumors about? The Eagles will do something crazy at the quarterback position before the season starts. Nick Sirianni, his first crack at being a head coach. You look at who the Eagles have played recently. At Denver Broncos, tough game. Home against the Saints, tough game. At New York Giants, tough divisional game. Then we have the New York Jets in the Jets' house, bye week after that, and then 3 divisional opponents after that. So there's a lot of really important games for the Eagles down the stretch of the season. A lot of big games, a lot of big divisional games here. The Jets, much like the Titans back in week 4, could be sandwiched in between a bunch of very important games where the Eagles could be traveling to the Jets and maybe overlooking them a little bit. Maybe they could be looking past them. And with the question mark at quarterback, with a question mark at the head coaching role as well, I just don't really know what to expect from Philly this season. So therefore, I'm giving the Jets a win at home. Next up, week 14 at home against the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to say it's a loss. I look at the Saints right now, even though that there is a huge question mark at quarterback. Is it Jameis Winston? Is it Taysom Hill? Is it Ian Book? Who knows at this point? We do know Sean Payton will figure things out. An offensive mastermind. At this point in the season, right towards the tail end, the Saints will be fighting for a spot or fighting for the crown for the NFC South. Okay, so they're not going to drop a game that that they should win, albeit it is in New York, so you never truly know how it'll play out. But I think for me, I'm going to chalk it up as a loss. Next up, week 15 against the division rival Miami Dolphins in Miami. This one can go either way. It can truly go either way, and I know it sounds crazy because the Dolphins have so much more talent than the Jets, right, on paper, and based off of what the two teams did last season, it should obviously go to Miami, but this is Robert Saleh's second crack at Tua. That could play into an effect here. The Jets would be coming off of a loss against the New Orleans Saints, so I expect the team to come in with a lot of energy, a lot of intensity, play pissed off against a division rival, and the Dolphins could be fighting for a playoff spot here, whether it be for the AFC East or the wild card. I could see the Jets playing the part of a spoiler. Also, you're looking at the Dolphins' schedule down the stretch. The games following this game, pretty tough. At the New Orleans Saints, at the Tennessee Titans, and then home against the New England Patriots. That's a tough stretch. So maybe the Dolphins are overlooking the Jets at this point. Who knows? So I'm going to leave it as a toss-up. Could be a win, could be a loss. I'll let you decide. We'll go over it all at the end. Next up, week 16 against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. I'm going to say the Jets snag a win here. I think right now at the end of the day, the Jets are the more talented team. They're going to be at home late December in New Jersey against a rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, a Florida team coming up and playing in the cold. I think the Jets can steal one. I feel like they will be riding the momentum of playing a hard-fought game against the Miami Dolphins, win or lose, and they'll bounce back at home against the Jaguars. Week 17, we're sticking at home to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a game that I'm really excited about, but I'm going to be realistic here and say the Bucs win. I think the Jets will probably lose this one. Tampa is just absolutely loaded. They are stacked. Offensive weapons, corners, they have the defensive line, they have the pass rushers. Todd Bowles return to MetLife Stadium. Let's make it interesting, right? I want to fight. I want to compete. I want to take this one to the end. I don't want to see a blowout. But again, for the sake of this video, sake of the schedule, the record prediction here, I'm going to say it's a loss. And last but not least, week 18 to take on the division rival Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. This one could go either way because we don't really know which are the Bills going to be playing their starters. Are they going to be in first place and therefore resting Josh Allen, resting all of their star players, Stephon Diggs, Trey White, all those guys? If they do, I could see the Jets winning this game. And funny enough, I actually went to the Jets at Bills last season. It was really cold, not cold enough to where it was snowing, but cold enough to where the rain was freezing cold. Really, really good seats. It was awesome. I love the intro that the Buffalo Bills players had. They have like these, tons of fire coming. It was crazy. And the vibe over there in Buffalo it's great. It's a true football town. So I definitely want to make it back at some point. But anyway, this can go either way. Could be a win if the Bills rest their starters, but if the Bills are fighting for the AFC East and they need this win, I just feel like it'll be a tough challenge for sure. So to top it all off, overlooking everything here, at the low end, we are 6-11, which personally I feel like would be a great step in the right direction for a brand new quarterback, a brand new head coach, coming off of a 2-14 season. We are more than doubling our win total from we're tripling our win total from last year. I think that would be a great improvement. And then, of course, at the high end, we beat the Miami Dolphins, a couple weeks earlier, the one that we talked about, and then the one in Miami. And then the Bills rest their starters to end the season. We're 8-9. We're 8-9, and of course, in every other season, it would be a 500 season. But, this one's weird because of the extra game, of course, right? There's 17 games, but whatever, 8-9. I still look at that as being, an awesome season, even though it would be technically under 500. But to go from 2 wins to 8 wins in one season with a brand new coaching staff, a brand new quarterback is insane. That's insane to me. So drop your predictions down below in the comment section. I cannot wait to read them. I really try to be realistic with this one, and I spent the past couple days really diving into other teams, their offseason moves, their schedules as well, to really try to get a good idea, a clear picture on how everything will kind of play out. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll leave it there, and as always, go Jets.